I'm Ariel. I don't know who's gonna watch this. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this. I actually sat here for like an embarrassingly long time before I was able to hit the record button, so that probably means something. Um, Today's my birthday. I am 32 this year. Um, I guess I imagined having some kind of like funny intro, like I was born on a Tuesday in upstate New York in the middle of a snowstorm or something like that. But yeah, at this moment, I can't even remember if I told you that I'm 32. I'm 32 today. Um, this video isn't really about that though. It is, however, it is a little bit about the year leading up to this. Maybe the years leading up to this video. God, this is just like nothing is sounding good. I don't know. Like literally nothing is sounding good. Give me a second. This is so hard to talk about. I haven't shared this with a lot of people. I haven't shared a lot or much of anything with anyone in like approximately a year. I got out of the military last October after being in for 11 years, which is hilarious, honestly, because I thought it was going to be like a short-term thing. And that could be like a whole story all on its own. But what I really want to talk about is just like kind of this past year. So I got out. It took me a long time to come to that conclusion. Something I had like fantasized and thought about for a really long time. I had all these plans, like a shit ton of plans, dreams, hopes, aspirations. And like pretty much the like drive, enthusiasm, like work ethic, intelligence, charisma, whatever you needed to like accomplish the plans, the dreams that I had, like I had it. And I was just kind of like sitting on this like, am I gonna do it? Is this the year? Am I gonna get out? Am I gonna get out? Am I gonna get out? And then I got out. And I kind of expected, I guess, like just to kind of take off like a rocket. But that's just not what happened at all. Not at all. I think I had like a little brief period of time where I was like exploring freedom and things were fun and it was like new. The funny thing is I had all these like meticulous plans lined up because I'm like a meticulous planner sometimes. It's actually like a joke with my family. I will just like plan the absolute out of something and then people are like, she's not even gonna do this. Like, why do you know every single little tiny step? Because something's gonna happen and you're gonna deviate. And that's like, I guess that's the point of this, because like that is really life. Something's gonna happen and you're gonna deviate. That is life. But anyway, I had finally gotten to the point where I felt comfortable getting out. The funny thing about being in the military is that I don't want to say it's intentionally disorienting, but it might be intentionally disorienting because when you're moving around constantly, there's no real opportunity for you to put down roots. So unless you're a person with a family and you're moving from place to place with your family, like whoever you're just stationed with essentially at that moment in time, like those are your friends, that's your support, right? And I had made it like a very intentional goal before I got out to feel like I had some kind of support on the outside world. I downloaded all those apps and I made friends on Bumble and the other apps. Like I got to know people like in the town, and I had like a support system, and at the time like I had someone who I felt like was my best friend, and we were just like this for like a year. And I think maybe that's probably a lot of pressure to put on someone in the course of a year, but yeah, we were just like super close. And things were vibing, and I felt supported. Like I felt supported enough to finally do what I had been planning on doing, which was getting out of the military. And although I've changed my mind about what I was going to do a couple times, for a while it was become a chef, and then it was go to school for dietetics, and then it was be a PA, and then it was I'm just like over all of this stuff actually. Like I've just spent too much time learning about it. I'm disenchanted with Western medicine. I'm going to full circle this thing, and I'm going to go to school for Chinese medicine because that's what my mom did. And yeah, like I did the footwork. I went to all the schools. I sat in on the classes. I did all the things. Money was kind of interesting. For some reason, something happened to me where I got out, where I was just like refusing to get a normal job. Like there was just something inside of me that was like, I can't have a boss again. Like I don't know when. I don't want to say ever, but I still haven't had a normal job, and it's been a little over a year. And I essentially did whatever I had to do. Like I turned my house into an Airbnb. Like I traveled to see friends and family. Just like random stuff, you know? And I had filed like a disability claim before I left, which I thought was gonna like click like that. And that didn't happen. It was just kind of this huge like waiting thing. So like I said, some of the plans I make just don't go to plan. But yeah, something happened like shortly after I got out where that huge support system that I thought I had just completely crumbled. And I guess I could blame like various things on it. I'm like, oh, maybe I really pissed some people off in like my unhealed state, or maybe people just weren't ready to be honest with me, or really what's probably the biggest truth underneath it all is that I was going through like a major energy shift at the time, and it wasn't even something that I understood. And I think that people can sense when someone is going through or about to go through a huge change, and not everybody can be there for that. And that was really hard. That was really hard for me. Pretty much the friendships that I really leaned into had crumbled. Either that person made the choice to stop talking to me, or a different person, I made the choice to stop talking to them. I think the bottom line of it is I just didn't feel like safe in the circles that I used to spend time in. And when somebody that you're really close to ghosts without saying anything, even though you're like, hey, did I like do something? Why haven't you returned my call or text or whatever? When someone does that, like it is very disorienting to the system. And I think something happened where I just didn't feel safe around people anymore. Like that's just the hard truth of it. Like I just didn't feel safe. I stopped talking to like essentially everybody. And I just like had made this decision where I was like, that's it. I'm just going to talk to my family because they're obligated to not leave. Like that thought, that's like literally what went through my head. And that's what I did. I withdrew from all my social circles. And I think if I had like an outsider's looking in kind of point of view at the time, I think that would have been a huge red flag. God, there's so many angles to this. Yeah, I think that would have been a huge red flag. But anyway, I eventually got tired of pimping my house out. That's what I called it. I felt the need to like recoup and recover. Like I was still planning on going to school this year and like moving to Washington. And then the disability money kicked in. The disability kicked in. And once it did, I was ecstatically happy for like a day. I was so happy. I was so relieved. Essentially, it was almost like something I had been unknowingly fighting my whole life, which was just to feel like secure. Like finally it happened for me, because I got to the point where, you know, I paid my house off. That's kind of a big thing. I don't tell people. But I felt so, I guess, wounded, and like my growing up life wasn't very stable, that I just had these goals that I think maybe not a lot of people really have, but I was like, I think I was preparing for something. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think I was unknowingly preparing for this moment. Like the moment for everything to fucking fall apart. But yeah, once it kicked in, I just had this moment of, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm 31. I could like sit in my house indefinitely. Like choose not to do anything. And I could totally do that. You know, it would be a humble life for sure. But it was something that I thought I wouldn't like have access to until I was like in my 50s or something. And like I said, I was like ecstatically happy for a day. And then suddenly, like, all those things that I had unknowingly pushed aside over the years that had been like racking up inside of me, they came to the surface in like a pretty hard way. And I think that's, this might have been a really vague video, but I think that's all I can share for now. I guess I just wanted to say, it's been a dark year. And I've changed a lot. And I've developed new coping mechanisms. And I follow these things I didn't used to follow. Spiritually, like spiritual stuff, like numerology, all this stuff. But essentially I did whatever I needed to do to get through a really hard time. And I still am doing that. But for people that do follow numerology, 3 + 2 is 5. Yay, math. And 5 is the number of transformation. And I feel that like really heavily. Like, I feel like I've been burned in a pile of my own ashes. And things are just not the same. Like, I'm just not the same person. And there's no option to go back. I just don't have it. And sometimes I feel like the only thing that gets me through like a really rough moment is feeling like somebody out there can relate to this, and feeling like I maybe have something important to share. So, if you're interested in listening more to this disorganized mess, you can follow me. This will probably go on YouTube. You can follow me on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm doing 2 podcasts on Spotify. And it's probably going to sound really jumbled, all the different perspectives and things that I'm coming from. I have a lot to say, a lot of different angles. I've just been keeping quiet for far too long. But yeah, if you stuck around to the end of this video, like, thank you so much. I'll see you around.